We literally had teachers not using these student laptops, and that's because the teachers really had no way of knowing what of the online activity or online behavior of their students. So we really needed a way for teachers to keep their students on task while using laptops, to be able to open up websites for their students, and maybe to block them from using other websites that they didn't want them on, without having to necessarily go through a long approval process. We also then wanted teachers to have the ability to override certain blocks for categories, such as artificial intelligence, for example. And we'd also like them to be able to communicate with their students in real time, to be able to share their screens, to monitor their online activity, to be able to provide focus sessions where their students can only access certain websites that the teachers enter, and to allow us to customize processes that work for our district. So, Classwize really makes all of this reality and helps maximize the ROI, the return on investment on these, very expensive one-to-one laptop initiatives that pretty much all school districts in the United States have adopted the past several years. With Classwize now, teachers at their fingertips can see every single student on one screen, what websites they're on. They can close out of websites they don't want their students on. They can open up websites that they want their students to be on and restrict them there. So it's really been transformational in that regard. From the student perspective, we've seen students research all kinds of ways to try to circumvent Classwize software. In fact, our number one searches, once we implemented this at the high school level last year, were our number one Google search was how to circumvent or how to get around Classwize. Collaborating with Linewize engineers, because the kids, they do find creative ways sometimes to circumvent things. But in working with Linewize engineers, and then of course, our network engineers and our IT department, we've been able to stay ahead of the kids for the most part. And then when appropriate use violations have occurred, the use of the Classwize software has actually helped us find these infractions, because they've been going on for a really long time. They've just been incredibly difficult to execute, to enforce. But now with the Classwize software taking screenshots every 8 seconds and really providing some very robust reporting features, it really helps out with all that, including investigations. But it's so good having an implementation team with Linewize that genuinely cares about our success. We have weekly or bi-weekly calls with their team, consistently. They provide us with, minutes of all those meetings and next steps, and the customer service has been fantastic. We've seen teachers use the laptops much, much more with their students since we shifted over to Classwize. And that's critical, especially considering how expensive these devices are, but even more importantly, how transformational the devices can be when it comes to student learning and achievement. Being able to purchase software that's really kind of price-wise a drop in the bucket compared to how much we spend each year on the one-to-one laptop initiative, in hindsight, really was a no-brainer. My only, frustration is that we didn't do it sooner. It's really easy to use. The training resources are very helpful and keep improving each week. And the features it has allows, teachers to have their students use laptops in the best, most creative and productive ways possible so that student learning and achievement increase. And that's really what it's all about.